Hey allies, the Thaumaturge is now available, and huge thanks to Evolve PR for giving us early access to test this one out ahead of its release. Now, I've been playing this on the ROG Ally, both at 25 and 30 watts plugged in, and the results aren't quite what I was expecting. I am running the latest AMD drivers with AMD motion fluid frames available. However, this doesn't support it, as it seems to be running Vulkan or something else, as it's not running the DirectX 11 or 12. Resolution wise, you can't run 900p annoyingly, but it does have FSR 3 and frame generation built in. Now, running on mostly medium settings but with high texture and high effects is my recommended settings for this, but it really is going to depend on kind of what anti-aliasing method that you have. Surprisingly, FSR 3 doesn't perform fantastically well on this. And if you do want to run this at 1080p, then FSR 3 actually brings in quite a lot of microstutter. Now, this was quite surprising. Even with frame generation enabled, it really isn't fantastic. And for some reason, when we go into the turn-based fights, everything really takes a hit across the platforms, and the Ally is no exception, dipping down into 30 frames per second most of the time here. It really does struggle in these fights. So if you want a more consistent experience, what I actually found was not to use FSR 3. As you can see, running around here, it's much more stable. That microstutter is gone, and it pretty much sits around the 40 frames per second mark, running at that 30 watt plugged in mode. This is using the TSR default on scaling quality medium. This actually gave me the most stable experience running at 1080p. So if you are looking to run this at the full resolution, and it does look really good with the ROG Ally screen, then actually I do recommend using TSR medium rather than FSR 3, even with frame generation. Now, you can dial this down to 720p and have either native scaling or TSR quality on high, but you'll still get those dips down in these battles, and it depends where those battles are. You can see that TSR is handling this a bit better, but it is an inside battle. But we're still dipping down into the 30s occasionally. But things are just a lot smoother, and we don't get any of the FSR ghosting or effects around the characters, especially when the salutors make their moves, but it still takes that FPS hit. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be diving into the Thaumaturge today, and whether you're playing on the ROG Ally or somewhere else. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.